The way I'm thinking of it is God sans creation is timeless. And so God kind of exists eternally as a timeless being, but somehow at the same in the same breath exists as a temporal being as well. So is temporal and
because
non-temporal?
there is no time. Sans creation, this is a timeless, spaceless existence, and time and space come into being at the moment of creation, which I would identify for the sake of simplicity with the Big Bang, with t equals 0, the first moment of time.
The reason I think this is important is because I know it's not strictly the conclusion of the Kalam, or maybe you think it is, but I've heard you talk in the past about how once we identify that there's a cause to the universe, we can say that it's a personal cause, let's say,
Yes.
because of the
Yes.
fact, and I may be misunderstanding here, but my interpretation was that it has to kind of do something to create a universe, right? And if an infinite being
Yes.
creates a finite thing, that doesn't seem to make sense unless the infinite being can change its nature in some sense. But how can we understand this outside of the idea of time, right? Because when I first heard that kind of line of thought, I was thinking, well, are we saying that there's an infinitely existing being who, because at some point in time creates the universe, something must change, and therefore it must be a kind of conscious decision-making cause? Without time, I don't see how that jump can be made.
I wouldn't express it exactly the way you did, but I think that you're in the ballpark. The problem here is, how do you get an effect with a beginning from a cause which is permanent?
Yes.
If the cause is truly sufficient for its effect, then if the cause is there permanently, the effect ought to be there permanently. How in the world do you have a permanent cause but an effect that only begins to exist a finite time ago? And it seems to me that the best answer to that question is that the cause is a personal agent endowed with free will, because free will can initiate new effects without antecedent determining conditions. And so what I would say is that this timelessly existing free agent freely wills to create the universe, and therefore time comes into being at that moment, and this being enters into time at that moment.